Bro.
What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. I thought I'd be way happier to do this episode, but apparently uh, I'm not, and we'll get into why. And you know, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about uh, Liverpool dropping points to promoted Fulham. Like, really, Liverpool? You beat Man City in the Charity Shield the week before. You beat the champions and you couldn't beat a promoted team. We'll talk about Southampton getting dragged by Spurs and giving Martin ammunition and confidence that is so unbearable. Uh, Hopefully, we'll check the fantasy league, and his team would have done shitty, and we could talk about that. We're going to talk about Man United's big disappointment, and we're going to talk about Neil's brand new shiny screen. We could see him this week, and how Chelsea only beat Everton by 1-0. That is a disgrace. But we'll talk about the league. It's the first Premier League game week 1. So let's get into it. And you can hear the podcast on Spotify. Normally, there was a problem last week, and on Omni Studio and iTunes. So hopefully there'll be no problem this week. You can also watch this on YouTube. Like and subscribe, leave comments, and we'll always respond. And the sponsor for the podcast is onthevolleyapparel.com. If you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, use our promo code ComicRant, you get 20% off on anything that's there. So just want to say, what's up, Neil? Chakravarty, stand-up comedian by way of India, Chelsea fan. Good to have you.
Oh, good. I'm smiling more than you, but only just.
You're what?
I'm smiling more than you, but only just.
I'd take your smile right from me. I'd be satisfied with that. And what up, Lee, giving Martin confidence. Hudson, stand-up comic from England, Southampton fan. How you feeling?
It started so well. I was feeling good after 10 minutes. But,
we all were.
Yeah, man.
But we can get into it. But yeah, it's not the result we wanted.
I feel you. Don't worry, I didn't get the result we wanted either. So I wonder which result is worse. Mine or yours? Yeah, that's a good question. But I guess one of the first things we talk about is Haaland and his debut in a real Premier League match for Man City, and he let the critics know what time it is, and it's his time and not theirs. And the kid's a baller. Who watched him play, and what do you think about what he did?
Yeah, I watched that game. I mean, the memes from last week have disappeared real quick. Community Shield was just him getting warmed up from the look of it. He was everything you'd expect him to be in that game. Leading the line. I know the first goal was a penalty, but he put it away with such confidence as well, because obviously after last week there's a little bit of pressure on him to get that first goal, but he couldn't have put it more in the corner. It was a great penalty. And then the second goal, obviously the ball from De Bruyne is beautiful, but he's still got to finish it off, and the way he just opened his body up and just sort of slotted it past the goalkeeper made it look really easy when it's not the easiest of finishes to pull off. So like I say, it was everything you'd expect him to be at City there. Obviously De Bruyne looking for that quick ball behind. They're learning what he wants as well there.
Yeah.
West Ham are no slouches either. They gave it a good go. They had a couple of chances. I think there's an Antonio header early on. They got tipped over the bar. So West Ham made Man City work for it. But yeah, Haaland's showing that he can be the difference for them. He can be that clinical match winner. So that might, it'd be interesting to see how that fares in the big games, the European games where they've fallen down previously and stuff like that. But hell of a start.
I agree with everything you said, except the part where West Ham gave City a match. I felt like at a certain point, like West Ham was like, it. Let's. I felt like they just froze in place and didn't know how to handle this crazy thing that Pep did when he brought two defenders, inverted both of the wing backs or the full backs, and put them in the middle of the park. And they just kind of were spectators for a lot of that game. And I guess a part of it is like, let's reduce the damage, because this could get really embarrassing. So like so let's not do anything. It felt like they were chilling more than like ice cubes do in my fridge. Like they was just like watching. I watched them watch the game. Like they had good seats to something that they were involved in. And that was kind of weird. But the Haaland thing is like last week, he was making runs that always didn't get picked up. And last week was like a good preseason game to like finally fine tune to see where the mistakes are. It's almost like doing stand up in your bomb, and you go back and watch the tape and you see why you're bombing, and you realize, oh, this can work. I just have to make these adjustments. And that's what they did. It's like, all right, so we got this new guy. He plays different. Let's find out how we can all play with him. And then they figured it out. And he is the monster we thought he would be. And he's going to haunt the league. And it's going to be a horror show. Because even when I was watching the game with Martin, after he scored the first one, the argument on the pregame show was Haaland plays different than Man City plays. Like Dortmund, they were always like, almost like counterattacking and springing. So then he had to make these long ass runs that were perfect for him. But once City goes up one and the other team tries to score on you, you're in that Dortmund position. You know, you're gonna win the ball back and you're gonna spring on them, which is perfect for Haaland. And then if they learn to, when they have the ball, you know, and they're in the final third and then just knock it around, like, you know, once they learn, which Gundogan did, found him, he's gonna have the Dortmund threat and the Man City threat to his game. So he's gonna add another dimension to his game. So yeah, it's a good luck league. Neil, did you watch it?
I literally watched just till a little after the Haaland goal, with the De Bruyne pass, because it was actually looking like a very interesting game. There was, I know, West Ham were chilling for most of the game, but there was a period in there where they had a lot of the ball. They had a couple of good chances. There was a shot that was blocked, and I felt like they can maybe hit something out of the game. But then that goal happened that kind of killed everything. There was also a moment that I don't know which player, but some West Ham player, like he tackled Haaland, and should have gone in harder on the tackle, you know. That's probably done us all a favor.
He should have rooted at him.
Yeah. So, but it was great to see like a lot, like, you know, if you're Pep, all the things you would have had in your mind you want to see from Haaland in the first couple of games, you got that. Like you got the blistering pace, replicate that in the Premier League. There were a lot of questions about that. He did that. The link up with De Bruyne. There were a couple of other moments too where, you know, it felt like it could lead to something. It didn't happen, but then eventually the goal came. It'll be interesting. There are question marks about, you know, Bernardo Silva. He might be leaving to Barcelona, but I feel like if Silva and De Bruyne are feeding Haaland, that could be a very, very lethal.
Yeah, I still think if Bernardo Silva leaves, like if Bernardo, like I feel like my prediction that Liverpool would win the league last week, even though these are early predictions, like after the performance, I feel I was wrong. But if Bernardo Silva leaves and with everybody else that's already left, I feel like that will hurt them, because if Haaland gets injured just for like a month, that's like Salah leaving for the League of African Nations. You know, it's like an injury like that without those extra people to fill in for the injured forward that they have will probably like hurt City.
I mean, they have let go of Jesus, Sterling, and if it's Bernardo Silva, that's three players who, because Silva is more of a midfielder, but he's still an attacking option who does contribute a lot going forward. And they got in Haaland and Alvarez, who are pretty much going to be playing the same positions. Unless there's a change of formation, I don't think you'll see both of them together starting games a lot. So there's a lot to fill, but it kind of feels like they're putting a lot of eggs in the Haaland basket for this season.
Yeah, it's almost too much. You don't get rid of too much. You got something you want to say, Lee? I think you got something.
Yeah, they have got some other options going through. They're obviously like in those wide areas. They've got Grealish, Foden, Mahrez, people like that. But then they're also looking to give more game time to players like we were trying to get Delap from them, but I think he stayed there in the end. So,
oh really?
Oh. They're like he was getting some minutes towards the end of last season. He looks really promising. And there's another youngster who I just need to check hasn't gone anywhere.
Cole Palmer?
No, Mukati was the other one.
Okay.
Because they got some good kids coming through, and it might be that he's actually gonna, actually start phasing some of these guys in a little bit more.
That's risky. Like this should be the year you should go for the title, not, you know what I mean? Like for the Champions League, I don't know. It's risky. That's putting the Champions League at risk. Doing it now, you should do it, but that's some risky shit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't advocate for them letting Bernardo Silva go if they can help it. Unless he's desperate to go and be a 100%, starter there. But I mean, like Delap, there's rumours here because we were linked with him. Stoker linked with him as well, so I don't know what's going to happen there. But I mean, yeah, they've still got depth. They've still got frightening depth within that team, and yes, I mean, I'm not changing my prediction from last week that I think they'll win the league.
Yeah. So yours. What happened this weekend fits in with your prediction. My prediction is kind of shaky based on how Liverpool did. So what should we talk about next? Should we talk about Man U score and get it over with? Should we talk about why are you so chipper on that, Neil? I'll just get into it with the Man U thing. So because of how the preseason went, like I didn't look at the preseason like the first few games. I looked at how our overall preseason was to give me a feel for what our team would be like for the season. And we started strong, right? Better than we ended last season in the preseason. And we ended bad. And if you add both sums together, you end up with yesterday. You know what I mean? So yesterday was not a surprise, which is a bad thing. If you're a Manchester United fan and you're not surprised that you lose to Brighton, that means your team is heading in the wrong direction. It should be a shock, but it was sad, but it wasn't like, this could always have potentially happened, And but Graham Potter did something yesterday. And I noticed it when I was watching the game, and only I think Danny Murphy mentioned it, and it was on match of the day. So they won the kickoff. As soon as they get the ball, they booted it up. Now they had our ex-player, what is his name? Welbeck. Yeah, but they were going direct, but they also just wanted to get rid of the ball, and they wanted to press us, and whenever they got a goal kick, Brighton is the type of team that brings the ball out the back and works through the lines. They didn't do none of that shit. Most of the time, they kicked the ball up, gave it to us, and press us. Now, the one thing that we did improve on during the preseason was pressing teams that play out of the back. They didn't give us one chance to try out our pressing out of the back thing.
Smart.
It's smart. Like, that's where we got our goals in the preseason. Like, that's how Marshall scored. That's how, like, we pressed and we got the ball from people and we created goals. And everybody was looking at that in the preseason. Like, Graham Potter completely took that away from us. And then they pressed us. And then if you look at the possession, let me see our possession. All right, let me see some of these stats. It looked like we had the ball 63% of the time. They only had it 37%, but half of that was just trying to get out the back. So they were willing, so they gave us the ball, but really they had the ball because we couldn't do shit with it. And then they trapped Fred and McTominay and harassed them. And they got I think that was the first goal and partly response. And just, they really attacked our weaknesses, which is a midfield, which we haven't changed since last year. And they got their goals, and we can only get one back, and they won the game. And that was like pretty much basically what happened yesterday. And I just want to curse out Danny Welbeck as a former player. You know, you played really good yesterday. And listen, we would have kept you if you played that good all the time. So don't just come to us and play that good now. Because if you were that good, we would have kept you. You'd be doing that shit for us. So go fuck yourself. But because you used to play for us, you had a good game. But really go fuck yourself. Anybody else?
He was really happy too.
Yeah, too happy. Too happy. Like, you're only motivated by playing the team that brought you into the league. Go fuck yourself, bro. Why didn't you do that for us against people? You should have been grateful we gave you the opportunity and did that every game.
He probably said that he used to have these once in a season kind of performances. Even while at United, it's just that now he's having it against United. But no, also, I mean, I know it's a bad start to Ten Hag's tenure at United, but you're also like using pretty much season's team.
Yeah.
Completely, like even the formation.
We're using Mourinho's team.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't really know what magic people expected from Ten Hag in his first game. It'll be interesting to see like if he gets some more players, because it seems like even the transfer business is a little bit of a mess. This guy, how do you pronounce his name? Arnautovic?
Arnautovic.
And that was the worst. If you thought the score of the game was bad, to hear about us looking to try to get I want to thank Bologna for turning down our offer.
So here's the thing, like that.
I appreciate that, Bologna.
That they got that link happened, and I don't think anybody's been following what's happening in this career, but just instinctively I knew that this guy's in the way past 30 years of age, so doesn't even make any sense. And then I saw a report saying that he's played for Ten Hag and what's the other guy's name, McLaren?
Yeah, McLaren
at the 20 in the Dutch league back in the day. I'm like, that's like almost a decade ago. Why does that even matter? Like, who even came up with it? It just seems such an odd link to happen. Like, I don't know, are there any serious journalists who are reporting this as a serious link, or is it just something people had?
It's been a lot of places. It seems legit.
That just doesn't make any sense. Like, this is even worse than the Igalo transfer if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, on the United stand, like, damn, I forgot his name, but he was saying that sometimes Manchester United inquires about people just to create excitement in the fan base, and because they know to get.
What did they think? What excitement was this going to create? Like, it creates negative excitement.
I know.
Anything. It creates chaos. It creates panic.
I hope he's right, because this was not the type of and then we're also after Rabiot, which a lot of people are upset about, but like that's one of the first people we should have been after. Like I'm not mad at that. Yeah, we lost the game and now we look desperate, but he's better quality than anybody we had, and if he should have been one of the first people we went after. And yeah, he has probably his mom is his agent, and there are probably like behavior issues with him and getting into it with different teams. But we have good guys who listen to the rules in our midfield, but they can't handle the pressure. So I'd rather
have
a bad seed that can play. I've seen what good seeds that are not handling the pressure of being Manchester United players aren't doing, and this is the best, worst idea we got. Let's do that.
I think yeah, go ahead.
So he's he's a French international. He's been at PSG. He's been at Juve. He's a winner. He's the sort of player that would come in and improve your team. And as soon as the De Jong deal was starting to look shaky, like you say, he should have been the guy that you went for quickly. Just going back to the game though, as well, like I think one of the biggest things as well, especially for this to happen on day one, is that it gives every team that plays you now a blueprint of what to do, how to combat the way Ten Hag wants to operate. And that's worrying because then now Ten Hag's got to figure out, okay, what do we do if now everyone tries to do this against us? What's the plan? How do we figure that out? Because teams will look at that now and go, oh shit, like that's how we don't get caught out against United, by just bypassing the press.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see how, that sort of chess game works and, how he tries to combat that. I'm sure he must have come up against it at Ajax or something before, because not every team would have played into Ajax's hands. So I'm sure he's got a good football brain. I'm sure he'll figure a way out, but it does, like I say, give teams a blueprint of what to do against you guys. So, I mean, hopefully Ten Hag hasn't figured it out by the end of the month when we play you on the 27th. Hopefully just after that you can figure it out, because we need all the help we can get. But yeah, it was an interesting game for sure. I still think you weren't terrible. You created some decent chances. You forced some good saves out of Sanchez in goal, but there was still some things that I think there must have been a better option than Eriksen as a false nine. He looked lost there, I thought. Move Rashford in as a 9 or something who can give you a bit more mobility and power there, because Eriksen just wasn't it. He looked so much more comfortable when Ronaldo came on and he was able to go back to playing how he normally plays, because he's an intelligent player, but he's not a false 9. That's not his job. Like I say, it just looked more comfortable when you actually had a forward on the pitch, or even if you'd have started Ronaldo and just said, give us 60 minutes or something. I mean, it's probably on the bench partly because of his behaviour as well.
Right,
they didn't want to give him that start.
Right.
But I mean, needs must in a situation like this. Although the game could have been different. Like I think a big one for me was that Bruno Fernandes chance. When the ball broke to him, because that he should be finishing that. Like a player of his quality should be at least hit the target. Because that was at 0-0 as well, wasn't it? So if that
that's like 5 minutes into the game, would have been up 1.
If that goes in 1-0, the game might go different, because it forces a change of tactics maybe from Brighton. But yeah, I mean, they took their chances when they came. They were clinical, and Potter's for me just one of the smartest guys in the league. So well done to them.
Yeah. I mean, there's some other things, but I don't want to spend the whole podcast on Man U. Let's keep it moving. But those are the things that I did notice.
Shout out Levi Colwill for making a Premier League debut late in the game. Came on, I think, the 88th minute or something.
And he's from Colburn.
Yeah, he's the guy I was really excited to see, because we had a centre back crisis. But I mean, he's 19. I guess another season out on loan in the Premier League will probably do. And I think playing for Graham Potter is always Well, he's one of the managers that if you're a young player, I think it's a good thing.
Also, you guys don't tend to loan someone to the Championship and then put them straight in the first team. They normally have that bridging loan in the Premier League. Like Gallagher went to, Championship teams, and then he went to Palace before he then came in for his chance.
They're the only two people who.
Yeah, I was going to say Brozier did slightly different. He went abroad, then he came to us, and then he went in.
Actually, the only people who came directly from Championship were Mount and Reece James.
And Tomori maybe as well.
Tomori too,
He was at Derby too,
Tomori was at Derby too.
But that was the embargo season, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So
what about Tammy Abrams?
Well, Tammy was interesting. He was Championship, Premier League, Championship, then back to Chelsea.
Because he went to like Swansea and Villa, didn't he? I think
he helped Villa come up.
He helped Villa come up. He was first at Bristol City in the Championship.
Yeah.
Then he went to Premier League with Swansea, that horror season at Swansea where they got relegated. Then he went to Villa, helped them come up.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about those other loans. Yeah. So, trying to think. Did we talk about the Liverpool, Fulham, or do we go Spurs, Southampton?
Should we get it out of the way? Should we get it done?
Let's get it done, because Martin might show up late, and then you have to talk about it with Martin on the thing. So you might as well talk about it without him on the thing. So what the fuck happened, Lee? If I can just ask a simple question.
I mean, Spurs were sleeping at the start. Spurs were sleeping. We came out, we got at them. But I mean, as soon as they woke up, we couldn't live with them. That was the sad fact for me. Like, like I say, we definitely caught them out early on. But I mean, was it 12 minutes to go? We scored, and then that was it. The game peaked there for us. It was all downhill after that. The worrying thing was the fact that all 4 goals came from wide areas. We're playing a new system with wing backs, and then we just got absolutely ruined in the wide areas. The benefit of the system normally that when you're playing with 3 centre backs.
Were any of the issues on Ginebro's side?
Both sides, unfortunately, but yeah, some were his. But the thing is, when you're playing with wing backs, the benefit should be that you have 3 centre backs, which means you can defend the box a bit more effectively. And we didn't do that. I mean, our defenders were even scoring their goals as well. So, I mean, that own goal was embarrassing.
That's Salisu own goal. I'm still trying to look at it from an angle that doesn't look like match fixing.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's he should have gone with his right foot, but he's a very left-footed player. Right. So I think he was intent on trying to clear it with his left foot, but his body shape was wrong. He just got the whole thing wrong. Right. But yeah, I mean, it was just a poor performance. Spurs were good. I'll give them credit, as much as I hate to do it. They were incisive. They were clinical. They were quick, which is what we have come to expect with them under Conte, and especially with the players they've got now. So. Yeah, I mean, Ryan Sessegnon looks like he's matured as well now and could be an impactful player for them. Be interesting to see who gets more game time out of him and Perisic over the season, because he's sort of made himself a starter with that performance. So yeah, get Perisic out your fantasy teams, because he ain't going to get any minutes in the next couple of weeks.
Sessegnon is like, nah, man, you ain't going to just replace me like that. I've been here with this old man. This is disrespectful.
But yeah, I mean, we need to pick it up. We got Leeds next, but I think we got some much tougher games after that. I think we might have United and Chelsea. I think are 2 games after that.
I thought you said tough.
City and Chelsea.
You just said United.
We'll make it a tough game if we play like we did there.
Don't worry, we'll make it easy.
Let me have a look. After Leeds, we've got Leicester away, then you guys, then Chelsea.
Yeah.
So Leeds and Leicester, I think, are viable fixtures that we could get something from. And then, yeah, I mean, it depends if Ten Hag's figured things out by the time we come to play you. But I mean, we're bottom of the league. The only way is up. I mean, other than staying there and going down.
The only way, that's the only way it isn't up. There's a down in this.
Yeah, I know. I think we need to bring in some MLS rules this season and scrap relegation. But I mean, I think the problem with that result as well is just, like I said, I wouldn't have minded if we lost and put up a fight, and if we lost 2-1 or something.
Right.
But to lose like that is worrying, especially considering our form at the back end of last season. We lost a whole bunch of games. Like the last sort of third of the season or quarter of the season, we had relegation form. We were lucky we got the points in the bag from before that. So it just rolls on that negative kind of confidence into the start of this season. And I think the clock's ticking on Hudson now after that result. Like he needs to show something in those next few games. Otherwise, he's really putting himself under pressure, because I don't know how long the new owners will put up with that for if that carries on, because it was bad. Yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of chances. He's had a lot of loyalty shown to him through some bad times before. But if we keep sort of spiking really high and then dipping really low, the lows are going to catch up with us at some point. You know, we finished way lower than we should have last season, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But it doesn't fill me with confidence after that. We'll see how we play against Leeds. Obviously, you're not going to judge them completely off of one game, but it wasn't the way you want to start a season.
We'll see if, I was just going to say, we'll see if Hudson stays in the league long enough for me to know how to pronounce his name. But you guys always have, and every team does have one terrible game this season. And Southampton always has a terrible period of the season, a really good period of the season, and like a middle ground period of the season. So maybe you're getting the terrible part of your season out of the way. But if you do the terrible part of the season first, he ain't gonna make it long enough for me to say his name the right way. So hopefully you get better. What were you gonna say, Neil?
No, I was also going to say, like, you know, I look at managers like Hudson, and there have been moments in the previous seasons where they've kind of been touted as moving up the ladder in terms of the next job. And I think there's always a risk if you stay longer at the job and things stay stagnant, or if they go down, then you're suddenly down that pecking order. Because somebody like Graham Potter, for example, he's managed to just have his stock rise up year on year. But you look at somebody like Brendan Rodgers, he's probably not gonna get that job, which everybody a couple of years earlier thought is gonna be, you know, a top 4, top 6 job. So I think even from not just the club's fortunes, but even the managers' fortunes, I think players like managers like Hudson, it's very important for them to like keep improving year on year and putting themselves in the marketplace.
Well, just to answer you, Neil, look at Graham Potter. He beat Manchester United, and his name is back in the talk for like a better job. So we're going to play Lee in a few weeks. Hudson wins that game, he gets the Graham Potter bump. And so that's when he should just jump on any new job, like right after that game.
I think Graham Potter is like he's not even surprising when a Graham Potter team beat somebody above them. It just seems like, yeah, Brighton do play good football and they can catch you on a bad day.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all right, so I'm going to ask you a question. How did Chelsea only manage to beat Everton 1-0, and that one was a penalty? Like, how did you only manage to score 1 goal on a team whose main forward, Calvert-Lewin, is injured? They sold their other forward to Spurs, and the other forward who can't really score, Rondon, was suspended. Like, all you had to do was attack all game. You don't even have to defend. And how did Chelsea only manage to score just 1 goal against Everton?
You know, when you play your last preseason game, sometimes things are still not completely in order. So we kind of like it kind of felt like you're playing a preseason game. I mean, it took us a while to get up to the tempo because Everton, they didn't have a lot of quality, but they were drafting really hard. They made it really difficult for us to even get to, like, we had a lot of possession, but to get really decisive in that final third. Like they were closing people down. They were like cutting off angles. The keeper was coming out and smothering efforts. So it was a proper welcome back to Premier League game, which I think probably the team kind of felt it's going to be easier than what it was. You could clearly see the signs of it was Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, and Aspilicueta backline, and they were really good. They cut out a lot of chances, but those three, Kante, Jorginho in front, Mendy, that's like everybody's in their 30s. So that's for 6 players who form part of the defensive framework, were all in the 30s. And on transition, we could have actually drawn and lost the game because they had some chances. Mendy had to make a really good close range save. Koulibaly had to make a great tackle that prevented things. No, not a tackle, actually. It was a clearance on a header between the two players had a free header if he didn't connect well. Thiago Silva had to make a stop one-on-one versus another player. So even though if you look at like shots on shots, and if you look at XG, it won't really reflect badly because we snuffed out the issues well beforehand, but there were lots of threatening moments in the game. And going forward, it was a really bizarre kind of game. Like Mount and Havertz never really got into the game, which is very unlike like Mount, especially. He has a lot of touches in most games, and he was barely in the game. Sterling, on the other hand, was amazing. Like I think he had, except for he scored a goal which is just offside, and then he had a shot blocked from point blank range. If he had the goal, it would have been the perfect debut. But he was really good. You could see like why we needed. He was a step above what we have in the forward line. And but it was kind of worrying too that the two best players on the pitch were Koulibaly and Sterling new signings. I don't think that's something you want to see. And then, but yeah, I mean, it was slow. There was scrappy. There was not a lot of things happening. Some of the same problems of not getting the balls. I think the way we play right now with this 3-4-2-1 is just so much emphasis on the wing backs to make things happen. And neither Reece or Chilwell were particularly good in the game. They were both, as I said, like kind of look like they're still getting used to the pace of the new season. Cucurella was good when he came on.
Yeah.
And that was a crazy, couple of days with the whole Cucurella signing, and it looked like it was done. And then Brighton took this unprecedented step of actually releasing a statement saying, no, nothing's done. And whereas everybody knew it was done. In fact,
they held Cucurella hostage until you handed over your
Levi Colbert. So
it's a spy swap.
And they wanted either a permanent deal or a loan with the option to buy, and we had to pay slightly extra for Cucurella. I think we had to pay under 3 million extra just to make sure it's only a dry loan, that they don't have that option. So, which I mean, I think it's a negotiation thing, but I feel like, why are we paying extra to keep our own players? Like, I think once you get to the table, people can throw up anything. But that kind of shows how much both parties value Levi Colbert too. Like, they both worked as if it was important. But the Cucurella was great.
And Cucurella shows how much both parties valued him.
Yeah. Like, they were not willing to let go of him. It's probably a world record fee for a fullback, maybe only next to Cancelo. So yeah, it was.
Let me
He was
answer.
good though.
So let me answer a question. He plays on Chilwell's side.
Yeah.
His left.
Yeah.
I know it's. I don't know how much you watch Cucurella. I mean, it's tough. I don't even know if I should ask this question. Cucurella or Chilwell?
If
For
it
you,
is the Chilwell that
right.
got, if it is prime Chilwell, the Chilwell that just before he got injured, then I'll take Chilwell. But you know, he's coming back from injury. He was out for like 6-7 months, so I don't know what Chilwell we're getting back. And so far, preseason and this game, it didn't look that great. So I think it's good to have that quality. We saw last season how much we suffered not having that wing back depth. So I think it's good to have somebody like Cucurella, who also I was feeling a little lost with both Liverpool and Man City making uh, big money signings with people with really long hair. So I think Cucurella gives us some balance. We got a great song for them already.
Oh yeah, he
So
definitely has a 1970s
yeah,
like
Spanish hippie.
porno hairstyle.
Yeah,
You know?
a hippie hairstyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, he looks good. I think all three looked good. Gallagher looked good when he came on. Broa looked decent, and I think Broa might actually, because Havertz been really poor, so he might actually get that striker spot soon.
So
Well,
that's the thing. Go ahead.
I was going to say, before Broa came on, though, that game was, I think, possibly the first ever Premier League game where there hadn't been a single striker on the field. Because Everton had Gordon up top, who is not a forward. You guys had Sterling as like a sort of trying to play as a 9. So yeah, there was no actual strikers on the field for however long it was until Broa came on. So that was interesting.
So I want you guys to remind me because me and Neil were talking about Frankie de Jong before, but I want to ask you. I want to say this now. It goes back to the Man U game, and then I got a few Chelsea questions to ask you. So the thing I want to say about the Man U versus Brighton game is that one of the key players in the Brighton versus Man U game was Caicedo, who is a guy Manchester United were linked to in the transfer window when we got Ahmad and Pellistri. And we decided not, they was like, do you want him? And we was like, no. And then Brighton took him. And then Brighton kept him like cooking a little bit, like off the pitch out of the first team. And then last year they started like showing him more. And then today he killed the team yesterday that could have had him for $5 million. Like now he's worth more than that. So that's another Man U front office mistake. I was like, just get him. And then if he doesn't work out, you only got him for $5 million, you can sell him back for $5 million to somebody. I was like, why wouldn't you not just make that deal? It wasn't an expensive deal. But the question I want to ask you is like, is it Tuchel or is it forwards? Like, Werner's gone, Lukaku's out, Havertz ain't scoring. Like, whose fault is it? Is it everybody's?
I think it's a mixture of both, because if you see the system, the three the three at the back and the wing backs, it places a lot of emphasis on the wing backs being good for us to have an attacking identity. If they are not doing their job, we don't have an attacking identity. That's why I feel like the system we play is so easy to be, to crumble. Like with the smallest of things not being at 100%, it can crumble. We don't have, like, the midfielders we play are actually sixes. So we play Kante Jorginho, or we play Kante Kovacic, Jorginho Kovacic, and they are not. So there is no bridge between the midfield, the deep midfield, and the attacking line. The bridge are the wing backs. So in the middle of the park, we are not able to be decisive. Pass, get the ball to the feet of the forwards, and have them, have them literally flood the box with players and get at the defenders. Almost always, by the time they're getting the ball, they're crowded out. So because they're isolated. So yeah, I think the system has something to blame, but I think Tuchel will turn around and say, yeah, that's why I want to get enough win back depth and cover that we can still continue to use the system and at its at its 100% level. So, but yeah, I don't think we're getting the best out of our forwards because we're leaving them too much to do. But also like people like Havertz, Mount, I think he had a bad game, but he gets a little bit of a leeway because he's got that credit in the bank. But Havertz, really, this is the season that he needs to show up and be consistent, not just have moments. Like he's always had moments. He's had even spells, but this is the season where he needs to be consistent throughout the season, pop up, and like even this game, he had chances, he had moments. So it's not like the system is not letting these guys do anything at all. Like we are putting them in good positions. It's just not the execution is a problem too.
Yeah, because I remember Werner used to blow some good chances too.
Yeah.
So and Havertz has blown some chances too. So it's just weird that why are all these forwards blowing these chances in this guy's system? It's not like they're not getting them. They do exist. It's just, especially with such a coach that has such a name, you figured, all right, we figure out a way to make these guys successful. Whether it's just on finishing or I don't know.
Like Werner, to be fair, like Werner was missing all these chances even under Lampard. So
yeah, he was.
It's just a completely different system. So I think maybe it's also like something about the tempo of the Premier League, like that extra half a second that you don't have available to you. Players are not always playing open. So in fact, if you see Werner, he scored, I think 10 Premier League goals across 2 seasons. And I think 4 or 5 of them are against Southampton, which is the only team in the league which kind of have a Bundesliga feel to it.
Wow.
So,
shots fired, homie.
No, I mean, it has its benefits too, but somebody like Werner can actually have fun against it.
All right. So tell me about this Frankie de Jong thing, which is pretty outrageous, but it also proves that Barcelona is a trash organization, and their people who work there are, I'm going to use a friend of mine's favorite word, they're charlatans. They are charlatans. Like, it's almost like, it's almost like the serpent who told Eve to take the apple off the tree runs Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just feel like I don't whatever they're trying to do there, it's shady. Like they're trying to somehow get him out of there by hook or by crook. But it's also like whether he wants to leave. It looks like he doesn't want to leave. I think Barcelona. He wants to get all his money out.
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave without 17 million, and that's why he's saying he doesn't want to leave. It's like it's a great strategy him and his agent have. No, I'm happy here because if you stay, you get paid. If you leave, your contract, I guess, is nullified, and you lose all the money that was deferred. So, and they're trying to get him out so they don't have to pay him. But that's cold-blooded to like not want to pay someone money that you owe them. You're a huge ass organization. So I feel like in the next few days, they can't register their players. So hopefully they'll have to take the money from us for him. And they'll be, because if they don't register their players, who's it? Kessie can't play. Christensen, Lewandowski.
Rafinha,
Dembele can't even play.
Dembele.
Because his contract is new, even though technically
but do you actually believe that? Like, I just feel there's going to be a magic built somewhere, and that's not going to be Frankie de Jong. It's going to be something somewhere there's going to be leeway given to them in some format.
And I I call that enabling. That happens.
Thing is, I can completely see it from De Jong's point of view though as well. It's like, hold on, you're not going to pay this money that I deferred, but you're going out and signing all these guys. They're all going to be getting big wages. They're all going to be getting signing on fees, and you're looking to sign Bernardo Silva as well. It's like, well, you got all this money. Why?
Yeah.
Why aren't you paying me what you owe me?
Why Xavi keeps saying he likes De Jong, so I don't understand. Like, does the squad need De Jong? In that case, why are you pushing him out?
They're only pushing him out to get money, but Xavi doesn't want to be a bad guy either. So he's like, I like him.
But they have the money, right? They are signing, or is this like some sort of a scam they're running where it's easy to say to the new guys that we're going to pay you, and then 2 years later they're going to put the same thing on those people too.
Barcelona.
That's a Ponzi scheme.
It's a Ponzi scheme, exactly.
Like they are scam likely. When you get a phone call in the morning from a 917 New York number, that is Barcelona.
Scam likely.
They are the Nigerian scam artists of football. You know, they're the email scam. Get out of here. I'm a prince.
I hope like neither United or Chelsea enable that though.
Yeah, I know.
I think that Frankie de Jong's sale is going to be that get out of jail card that they can get. I don't want us to give it to them, although maybe it does make sense.
Everyone in football should walk away from them and refuse to buy their players.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, you've made this mess. You fix it.
Yeah, let's not help.
Because I like when it came to Spanish clubs, I always used to like prefer Barca. Just because like even from like a kid when they had all the Dutch players there, like back in the day, used to love that. And then obviously the Guardiola era and everything. And like now it's like, this just stinks. This is, I mean, football clubs are never the most moral of organizations like throughout. I mean, every club's got a bit of dirt somewhere. Yeah. But what's going on right now, they're just
this is just too blatant.
Yeah, this is definitely some scumbag shit. Like, this is a poor kid who worked his way up to this, and you're just gonna try to take his money and not pay him?
He's not the only thing. The Danish guy, the Braithwaite,
Martin Braithwaite.
Martin Braithwaite.
I don't know, but it is Braithwaite.
Braithwaite. He was introduced. He's having some situation where they just don't want to pay him, and he's like, "No, I'm not going. You need to pay me." And today, the poor guy, he was introduced yesterday, today, in the the entire squad is being read out, right? And he comes running out of Camp Nou, and the entire crowd is booing him.
Like, because the propaganda has it like he's the problem.
Yeah, his crime is he wanted to have his wages paid.
Right.
Yeah, that's not mercenary behavior. That's just I want to live behavior.
Yeah, and everybody's acting like, it's like he is the person who runs the club, or the people who run the club, definitely pulled. Like, people are so Barca. It's almost like they're super Republican or super Democratic, where their party can do no wrong, even though it's doing blatant. Yeah, it's like yeah.
It's a cult, isn't it? It's a cult, essentially.
Basically, it's a cult, straight up. Yeah, it's a straight up cult.
Yeah.
Where are we next? Do we want to do the questions?
Guys, I need to take off. Something just came up.
All right.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. You talked about your team. We good.
I had an appointment set up at home, which I completely forgot. This was set up like a couple of weeks ago. So there's a person's here. So sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Guys, let's all pray that we beat Martin this week.
Oh yeah, you better handle that.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
All right. See ya. Bye.
All right, peace, fam.
See you now.
Thanks, bye.
Do the Liverpool game quick.
Yeah. So, like, Liverpool, like I said, wins the Charity Shield, and then struggle against a Fulham team that just got promoted and was voted by every pundit pretty much the first team that's going to get relegated. And Fulham comes back out, and they had a game plan. Scott Parker was like, and even last week I saw a clip of me saying, like, when we were doing game predictions for this game, I was like, it's Liverpool, they're going to win, and the only time somebody needs to give an explanation about who they think is going to win this game is if their choice is Fulham. And man, that was wrong. Fulham came out and they just pressed. And they played Liverpool like they were Liverpool. Like, it was like the exact game plan. They just threw Liverpool's game plan into Liverpool's face. They pressed, they hunted in packs, and there's some players on Fulham, like, is it Paulinho, this midfielder?
Yeah, centre mid.
Yeah, I don't think he lost the tackle. And he was banging Liverpool. He was welcoming Liverpool players to the Premier League. Like, oh, this is how we play here. Like, I'm like, how do you know? You never even been here. Like, this motherfucker is huge. He's fast, and he's up to speed. Like, he can hang in this league. I don't know if it was just one good game, but he was ready. The whole team was ready. And Mitrovic, who has been in the Premier League before, the last time he was in the Premier League, he only scored 2 goals. He only scored 3 goals for the whole season. This time, he scored 2 in his first game. And Scott Parker did not play him. Scott Parker does not coach Fulham. I said that up top. He used to coach Fulham. It's Silva who coaches. So Silva had them ready to rock and roll. And Silva has experience in a Premier League. He normally hasn't done well in it. He's had several jobs here. But I like this concept of Fulham that he brought on the field. And they tied with Liverpool 2-2, made Liverpool, the team that came second last year, drop points. And yeah, Fulham, this is a good 1 point for Fulham and for their fans to see this happen in their stadium in their first game of the season. And the fight of this team was beautiful. And that's all I got. What you got?
I mean, yeah, it's interesting that there's so many of that Fulham team who were there before. I think 8 out of the starting 11 have been there before when they got relegated. So to see that group of players come back again, obviously the players they've added, obviously that Paulinho, like you say, in the midfield, he was a real asset in there. I mean, it's crazy to think that, that's a guy you guys could have got maybe.
Yeah, it's like
as another option in there.
Yeah,
he's been playing for Sporting Lisbon and he's been playing for Sporting Lisbon and Braga in Portugal and been doing well. And they're not small clubs; they're clubs who compete in Europe as well. So he's and then they had one of your ex-players, Andres Pereira as well, who had a good game. I thought.
He had a good early part of the game, and then he tried to get. He turned into the Pereira we sold, where he tried to get fancy. And it's like, there's some basic fancy plays that I can do that don't work on real pros. And he was doing that. And of course, he started messing up. But he had a good beginning of the game.
But yeah, I mean, if they're playing him every week, I think he'll learn as well. But he's got the skill set because he's been doing really well when he was out at Flamengo in Brazil. So it's interesting to see him starting on a team. And it was surprising because we were chatting during the game as well, and we were saying that Fulham have come out with this promoted energy. I think that will fade. I think that will dip off, and Liverpool will turn it around and just be comfortable. And then they weren't.
Right.
Credit to Fulham. They really worked them like properly, and obviously Liverpool had that quality to keep themselves in the game. Obviously, being able to bring someone like Nunez off the bench is big, and obviously he got his first goal in the league. And obviously Salah just missed the consistent, so it's no surprise he popped up as well. So it's it's a really interesting game. Like I say, Fulham, it'll be interesting to see if that's just early confidence from being promoted and whether this lasts or not. Or if things are different, if they're actually here to properly make a go of it this time. Interesting, yeah, Mitrovic is still their number 9 because he kind of flopped in the Premier League last time. He scored a ridiculous amount of goals in the Championship last season, even more than he did the time before.
Right.
And he carried that confidence in as well. So the fact that he was looking that confidence up against, Matip and Van Dijk,
Right.
two of the best defenders in the league, it's fair play to him. He did really well.
And I have a question: the penalty or no penalty? Pen or no pen?
I would say it was just about.
I know, right? Just about, right? Like he tapped him. But was he going to get that ball back?
The one Lissandro got away with in your game
right
was more of a penalty than that one, though.
The one that what?
The one that Lissandro Martinez got away with for you guys, where he just straight
Yeah, he just shoved into the ground, shoved well back to the ground. Yeah, that's why we call him the pit bull.
Yeah, that was more of a penalty than this one, I thought. But this one, I thought, well, it was still a penalty,
just all right. I say, I like your answer. Yeah. Let me see if I can find these Twitter questions. I'm terrible at Twitter.
Do you want me to just talk about fantasy football quickly while you find
those? Give up like who's where.
So shout out to the top of the Soccer Comic Rant Championship on week 1, which is Lyle Gillen, team named Darwin's best friend. He's top on 85 points. So he's killing it. Just looking at who he had in his team, he captained Salah, which some of us did as well. But he had Martinelli and Zinchenko in there, who both did well. He had Haaland, he had Cancelo, he had James and Mendy. Obviously, both got clean sheets as well. So he had a good all-round team. I'm the highest of the 4 of us from the podcast on 67 points. I captained Salah as well, so that paid off. I had Zinchenko, Trippier, Haaland. Everyone else did nothing for me though. Kane did nothing. Perisic did nothing. Jesus did nothing. I had Eze. I gambled on Eze. He did nothing. I had Ward-Prowse on my bench with 9 points. So I should have had more faith in one of my players. But you're the next highest. I'm on 67 points. You're on 64.
Well, what can I say? The automatic pick.
For those of you that don't, Ian was scrambling around trying to get a team before the deadline, so he just let it auto pick for him. And he gave you an all right team. It gave you Darwin Nunez, who got you your top amount of points. You had Koulibaly with a clean sheet, Thiago Silva with a clean sheet. So yeah, you might need to make a little change in there because I don't think Alonso is going to play a single game this season for Chelsea. So he's going to be going to Barca soon. So that'll probably be the transfer you need to make. But moving down the list, we have to scroll down quite a little bit to get to the next one, which is mine. Mine's on. So I'm on 67. You're on 64. Martin's on 55.
Well, what place are me and you in?
So I'm 7th.
Right.
You're 9th.
All right. And it's a 20-team league.
No, we got 27 people in the end.
Oh, that's pretty good. What's up, y'all? All right.
Yeah, some people. Fantasy football is where it's at. There's plenty of people wanting to play, but Martin's 20th. He triple captained Kane, which actually made me. Although we lost 4-1, Martin triple captaining Kane and him doing nothing did bring me a small crumb of joy. A really small crumb of joy, but he had like Dyer and Kulusevski and Haaland who got him some points. So yeah, I mean it's week 1. The gaps are quite small. The Neil's shortly behind after 51, but he's hampered himself by having to name a team of players who've all played for Chelsea or Chelsea's academy at some point, other than his keepers, because he couldn't find any keepers. So yeah, he's got some. Like he had Mark Gray, who obviously scored an own goal for Palace, but he captained Salah, so that kept his head above water. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. We're not going to get too much into it now because it's week 1, and there's no real bragging rights to be had this early on. But like I say, shout out Lyle Gillen, number 1, with Darwin's best friend. So yeah, see how long you can keep that top spot for.
All right. We'll see. I'll have to pay attention to my when I picked it, when it auto picked it for me and I looked it over, I said, all right, this is good. That's why I didn't change it much. I said, all right, this is I probably wouldn't do better than this in this time crunch. So I just accept it.
It's really quick and easy to make transfers. So like I said, I'd recommend getting Alonso out because he's about to join Barca. So that would be your transfer for week 1. But other than that, you actually got a fairly decent team.
How many transfers a week you get? Or
just one.
One a week, or for the whole?
Yeah, but one a week. There's some things like wild card where you can change the whole team if you want, but you only get to use that twice a season. But it's one transfer per week, and if you don't do it for a week, you get 2 the next week.
Right.
So yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, that's how we're looking right now.
All right, man. That's the review. Let me just check these questions. I think there's only like 4 of them. And somebody says, tell you who it is. It's kind of a broad. Oscar Starchild says, what do y'all think of the new kits? So, but in the picture, it has like a Man City kit, right? The one that they wore this weekend. But I clicked on it and it shows like all the kits. I don't have time to go to all the kits. So as far as the Man City kit that I see that they wore the other day, that's the best kit. Like Man City normally has horrendous kits. Like I don't even know how they sell jerseys. Like their kits, and I love Puma, but these Man City kits are normally atrocious. But this one right here that they played in yesterday, it's like too bad Gabriel Jesus and Sterling leave once Man City finally gets some decent kits. So that's how I feel about Man City's kits. It's good.
We did say that Haaland, he set a frightening precedent with the way he played, but maybe it was just because they were sort of in Dortmund colours. Maybe that was why. Why he tore it up? Because Dortmund they switched to like a luminous kit for some games. Obviously they're normally yellow, but yeah, they've had those colours before. So we'll see how he does when he switches back to blue.
I figure these colours are from like their history, but I don't know Man City history. So
yeah, they had the I remember those colours like back in the day when they went all the way down to League One.
Shit!
They had those colours in like a classic Kappa away kit when they won the playoffs to come back up to the Championship.
Right.
So yeah, sort of. But there's some interesting kits. We released our 3rd kit, which is the one we played in against Spurs, which is like a sort of camo dark green kit. But that's a nod because the Spitfire planes that were used in World War II, they were built in Southampton. It's like a nod to that. It's like the colours of that, and it's got some details on the side of the kit, which sort of a nod to the aviation history there. So that was quite cool. Although I don't think they look great on the pitch. I think it's hard for the players to. It sort of just blends in
with the grass.
Yeah, a little bit. That's my excuse maybe for the game. Who knows? Maybe when we switch back to the home kit, we'll be great.
When you get out of the pitch camouflage, you'll be fine. You know who's kits.
So I think you guys. I think your one looks tidy this season. I like the collar.
That's our best kit in a minute. Like
it's a little bit retro looking.
Yeah, I like these. I like the white one, and I think I just saw another one online, but I do like, I like the red one with the collar, with the white collar. Like I'll definitely should get that. But you know who has really good ass kits? Crystal Palace, because I'm seeing 3 of their kits right now, and I'm like all of the 3 kits slap. The white one, the red and blue, the one that they wore this weekend, and they got a black banger. That's like, I'm like, all right. Everton, their kits always stink. They have like pub team kits. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. Fulham's 3rd kit is atrocious. So, Jesus Christ.
You see Newcastle have gone with Saudi colours for their away kit.
Let me see.
If it's either their away kit or their 3rd kit. It's like the green and white.
Sliding down. Here's Newcastle. So they have the stripe joint. So that the black and white, like the prison bars, prison outfit, Foot Locker. Looks good. Even if those was plain. Then they got. You talking about the blue one or the white one for Newcastle?
The white one, because it's got the green shorts with it. So that's the Saudi inspired one.
Yeah, but we're not owned by the state. But our kit is the Saudi state colors. All right.
Yeah. I like
this is a private company.
I think the Arsenal away is one of my favourites. The black with the sort of gold, sort of coppery coloured detail on it.
That's what I hate about Arsenal. They always have great kits. And that annoys me. I'm like, if we're both Adidas, why are their kits better? Like, why is Adidas making better kits for them than for us? Like, we're both Adidas. Like,
yeah.
Let me see if I see it. I know they played in like that.
They had the pink one against Palace.
The candy floss. They look like a cocktail a woman would order at a bar. Color. Like, yeah, they look like the pink tart roots of a rhubarb. But this black one, are you talking about this black one?
Yeah.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, it's nice. I kind of like the West Ham home one. I thought it was quite nice.
Was that the one that they played in this weekend?
Yeah, with the detail, like the detail on the top of the sleeves.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at that. Yeah, that was cool.
But a lot of the stuff is quite standard this season.
Yeah.
Like Leeds is like just a plain white Adidas shirt. Fulham plain white Adidas shirt.
Yeah. I do like this. Is it which one? This yellow Leicester joint is nice.
Oh, the one with the sort of white and it's like white in the middle with the yellow sleeves and then the red, the burgundy sort of
it's like
detail on it.
It's like all yellow. And then shit, I wonder if I can share content. Let's see. Screen.
Not sure I've seen that one.
Screen broadcast. Let me see. I don't know how to. I might not be able to get back to you. All right, I stopped share because I don't want to. This iPad is new. It's.
I think you might be looking at the Leeds one, the one with the sort of the patchy blue.
Yeah, patchy blue. Yeah. I thought that's what I said. Leeds.
It's almost like a tie-dye looking kind of.
Yeah, psychedelic one. Yeah, tie-dye. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Liverpool, their shirts are always good. Liverpool's shit is always tight. That pisses me off.
Yeah, Arsenal away gets my vote. If I had to pick one, the Arsenal away, the black one. That's my kit of the season.
Yeah, I like their red one too. They have the same shirt of us, but in Arsenal with the collar.
Mm.
The red one with the white, and yeah, that's pretty good. I give them 2, but that pink one, yeah, I'm not feeling that. Let me see what else they asked. Maybe you can answer this. Which Turin Giants podcast said which comedian would make the best football manager?
Well, I'm probably the most qualified. Of any comedian. So, but that's not an interesting answer. So
no, it actually is. You got the badges, bro.
But I'm trying to think. I think Burr would be interesting to see in a dressing room. I'd quite like to see Burr give a team talk.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. Just digging people out if they're losing at half time or something. I think that would be great to see.
That's fine.
But I'm trying to think if there'd be any other one that would be quite amusing to see.
Yeah, any comic that's like good at roasting would make maybe not a good coach, but an entertaining one. Like you watch the match, but you really want to watch the halftime speech instead of the game, because the team ain't gonna win. But the worse they do, the better the yelling is gonna be. So whichever comic is funny and a sore loser would make a great entertaining coach. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm not gonna. I think Wake Up is just joking. And then, how do the Sounders win CONCACAF? This is by Omar. How do the Sounders win CONCACAF but can't get in the MLS playoff?
I mean, I would say that's probably testament to how much the MLS is improving. Because I mean, the Sounders are still super competitive in the MLS. I mean, just having a look now at the table because they're up there most seasons.
I just watched them play.
They've won it a bunch of times as well. They're not they're
I
not a
think they
slack
have.
team. I mean they're a bit more mid-table this season. They're 8th so far in the Western Conference. But like I said, I think that's just testament to how much the league has improved,
Right.
and how competitive the league is getting, and especially in that Western Conference, there's some really good teams. Obviously, LAFC have brought in. I mean,
Did you see what Bale did?
Yeah, I saw his goal to finish off the win.
Yeah.
4-1 was it in the end?
At least.
I think. Let me have a look. Yeah, 4-1 it finished against Real Salt Lake. And Salt Lake aren't even like a whipping team either.
Right.
Salt Lake are 5th in that conference. So, yeah, I mean, it just shows. I mean, obviously, like, there's teams like Austin look strong this season as well. They've got their act together. So, I think it's just how competitive the MLS is now, and it's becoming more and more of a. We talked about it before. We said like players can't come over now when they're like 37 for retirement and just stroll it now because it's a quick league, it's a physical league, it's a demanding league. When Chiellini plays, he has to use all of his experience.
Yeah.
It's not a league you can just come over and retire in now. So I mean, you look at like Zlatan came over. I mean, age doesn't seem to affect him, but he came over, scored a bunch of goals, and then went back to Europe and scored a bunch of goals.
Right.
Normally, like if you come over to MLS, you're done, kind of thing.
You can't go back to Europe and prosper.
Yeah, whereas he flipped back, and then you got like the guys at the Italian guys at Toronto now again, Bernardeschi and Insigne as well. So yeah, I mean, those guys are great players who they've come over. I wouldn't say youth, but but yeah, Bernardeschi's late 20s. Yeah, Bernardeschi's late 20s, so he's right in there, and Insigne I think is like 31, 32. So yeah, these guys are coming over to do a job, and they're going to be they're going to be challenged in these games. So you can still see the quality they have, but it's not. I mean, the quality of the league's high. The fact that there's been, the expansion teams added now over the last few seasons. Teams like Austin, Nashville, Cincinnati, Minnesota as well. They've all come in. So the conferences are big now. I think it's 14 teams in each. So
that's a lot.
And I think just the levels are going up, and that's only a good thing. The clubs have all got academies now. That wasn't always the case. So just the quality of homegrown players is probably better than it's ever been. The quality of outside players coming to the league is probably higher than it's ever been. That's only going to mean it gets better year on year, and I think the rest of CONCACAF is having to catch up a bit, because I think Seattle winning that was a bit of a sign to say like, oh, because previously it was sort of really dominated by the Mexican clubs,
right?
But now it's like, and Costa Rica have got a couple of good clubs as well, but now it's like MLS is the development, the investment in it is starting to pay off, and I think it will just be the dominant league now in CONCACAF.
Also, Omar, I just think you're greedy. Like Seattle has won, and I saw the one Seattle game. I went to the one. It was Bale's first home game, and I sat next to Martin. And Martin was explaining to me that most of that Seattle team, they've won already, and they've been there for like a long period of time. So your team is kind of old. So they're not going to be able to like put up a fight on all fronts, like with the same amount of intensity that they do in all competitions, because your team is kind of like old. So stop being greedy. You won, and that's why. Jesus. And that's the last question. Do you want to go over any predictions for any games coming up? Like, what's the big games next weekend?
I mean, Chelsea Tottenham, I think, would be the the biggest game in the league next week.
Do you think Tottenham will have their shit Chelsea will have their shit together enough to like beat this team? It's at Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean there'll be a lot of pressure on them from their fans as well because they really don't like Tottenham.
Right.
So I think it'll be interesting to see if they can rise to that challenge. I think they can. I mean, I hope they do.
I hope they
just
can.
because
Yeah.
I can't bear Martin if they win 2 games in a row against 2 people that are both on the podcast as well.
Right.
We can't have that.
No, we can.
Because I already know that I've got to put up with him talking about this week's result whenever he does next come on. So at least if there's something in between to like dampen his mood, that would be good. But so yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tottenham could easily quite go and win that. They've got an immense amount of quality in their team now, but hopefully they don't.
Yeah, they have the quality and they have the coaching, and they had a great preseason. Like just the way Conte put them through their paces. Like I saw like some clips of them training, and he believes in fitness a lot. And when a team is fit and the training is harder than the game, then it makes the game easier for them. And I think he believes in that. And he put them through the fire hoops in training. Like, we all know Conte don't play, and he's got something to prove. So beating Chelsea is a major statement for someone like Conte. Plus, he hates Chelsea. He got into
he sued him.
He sued him. So he's definitely going to be like, Kane, son, even though we won 4-0 last week and you 2 didn't score, that means you owe me some goals this week. And what other game? So, but because of
Brighton Newcastle is going to be a really good game.
Brighton Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one actually.
Yeah, and Newcastle did their thing this week. They put away Nottingham Forest, and I saw that game too, and it's like I like Jesse Lingard, but you can't be jogging around the field. You got to add some intensity to your run and put some pressure on people. Like Newcastle, their midfield of Bruno Gomez and Joe Linton just had their way with that Nottingham Forest.
They both look good again.
Yeah, they did whatever they wanted to do. They was like holding onto the ball, dribbling. All right, I'll pass now. I won't pass now. I'm gonna hold it tomorrow. It's those guys are impressive. And Joe Linton, who came into the league as a 9, was he a 9?
Yeah.
And for Eddie Howe to turn this guy could potentially be one of the best midfielders in the league. Like he's good. Like, and he's running his ass off. Like this huge guy is getting up and down the field on some box to box shit and defending. And I wonder if he's still at the club, the bald headed guy, Shelby. Like,
I think he's still there. I didn't hear about him going anywhere.
Yeah, so he didn't play. Maybe he's injured or something, but he plays with his entire heart now. So Eddie Howe. England got some good coaches for the future between Potter and Eddie Howe. Like the way they're coaching and the way their teams are responding, it gives me hope for British football from a coaching standpoint. Yeah. I don't want to drag the show out. I think we covered some shit. As far as Arsenal's 2-0 win over Crystal Palace in their champagne dresses that they had on as shirts, I knew this would be a tough game. Arsenal went there and handled their business the way Manchester United didn't handle their business. I would say Crystal Palace is maybe not as good as Brighton, but they're up there. They're in that tier of teams that could take some points from you. But Arsenal's, it's not just their skill, it's the mentality is right. So, I put them in the top 4, 100%.
Have you watched any of the Amazon documentary yet? The Arsenal or Nothing?
No, not yet. How many episodes have you watched?
2 so far. I just finished the one where they smashed Tottenham in the North London derby. So that was fun.
I'll start at that one.
I might even rewatch that one next.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But it's interesting. It's a good watch so far.
All right, I'll check it out. There's another show on Amazon I need to watch. It's not a football thing, but while I'm on there, I'll check it out. I just finished watching The Boys, and I gotta watch Uploaded. There's this comic she's on there, Zainab. And it's a good show. It's really
Zainab Johnson.
Yeah, Zainab Johnson. Yeah. So,
nice.
Yeah. So I'll check it out. There's two teams that botched it this week, Aston Villa and Everton didn't really botch it, but like my friend Lloyd, he never writes. He'll send me like videos of like football clips and stuff to watch, whether they're Man U related or Aston Villa related or just football related. But he just wrote this whole thing about Gerrard. That he's like, I normally back my manager, but yeah, he just wasn't happy with what.
I think like, one of the big things with Gerrard is he lost his assistant this summer. Right. A guy called Michael Beale, who was with him at Rangers. They coached together at Liverpool back in the day. In the academy, and he went with him to Villa, and then this season he left because he got the QPR job. So he became a manager in his own right down at QPR, and he was, to all intents and purposes, from some people I know, they've said that he was the brains of the operation. He was the guy who had the more experience, obviously, on the field coaching, because he's been coaching since he was like in his 20s. He wasn't a guy who played, right. So he was the guy doing a lot of the sessions and things.
And the sessions,
yeah.
Right.
So Gerrard hasn't got that this season. I think he's got a guy in Neil Critchley who's an experienced coach as well, to replace him. But it shifts the dynamic. The players might be getting some different messages. So it'd be interesting to see if that has an effect. But I think it definitely would, because Bill was one of sort of the brightest British coaches out there, and that's going to hurt if you lose someone like that.
Yeah, it looked like it affected them because they got beat by a team that was the second most likely to be relegated team, 2-0. So, yeah, they got beat by a yo-yo team.
Yeah, it's not the way you want to start a season.
Yeah, it's not the way you want to start a season. But
not that I can talk, but
yeah, me neither. And I'm just going to say to Manchester United fans, do not panic. Listen, this is going to be a tough season, but we just want to, like I said it last week, listen, we're going to get some more signings. Every team is not going to be direct on us and not going to let us play our game. We'll get Marshall back. We'll figure out this Ronaldo thing maybe by September 1st. When the transfer window closes, he'll be gone. I prefer him gone because I think he's unhappy. If he's not happy, then his mentality affects the rest of the team and affects the authority of Ten Hag. And we have to get it right on the pitch. So, yeah. But let's see. I'm optimistic until there's no reason to be optimistic, because there's plenty of time to worry in this lifetime. So I don't want to do it beforehand. Terrible result. And yeah, we looked like last year. But last year, we won the first game of the season, and it went bad. So I'll take this bad right now for us to see our weaknesses, and so that, if Ten Hag's a good coach, he'll fix this. And if he ain't, then on to the next. And I do feel like, unlike some Manchester United fans, he's made mistakes. Like, their blind pursuit of Frankie de Jong is affecting us now. I know why he wanted him. I know this is an extraordinary situation with this club Barcelona that is like doing some historic, like, serpent shit, like dealing with them and what they're trying to do to Frankie de Jong affects us. And I know this Ronaldo thing is like, but I don't want to be repetitive. I talked about it. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just that, it's early doors. That's the main thing. Like episode 1 of that All or Nothing with Arsenal covers how badly they started last season, where they lost 3 games in a row. They had a goal difference of like -9. They hadn't scored after 3 games. Everyone was like, this is the worst Arsenal team ever. Arteta out, and all of this. And then I think overall, I mean, I know they fell off a little bit at the end and they finished 5th when they could have finished 4th, but that was a good season, I think, for them last season. So it shows that, don't judge it immediately.
Right. Well, good luck telling football fans that. What happened this week is the only thing that ever happened in our lives for our team. And until the next game. Yeah. But we'll see. Well, thanks for being on. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, our producer, for putting this together. Thank you, Neil, for spending the time or the amount of time that you could. Martin, thank you for not coming. I couldn't take it. So we appreciate you not showing up. It's the best thing we could have done for all of us. And everybody participating in the fantasy league. Let's go, man. Let's get this. Let's see if you can beat my automatically pick teams every week. All right, y'all. Name is Ian Edwards. Peace out. Be good to each other. And now we see y'all next week. One. Let's see. I guess I can take a picture from a screenshot from the thing, so I don't have to.
Yeah, when you can probably take a picture from when Neil was in it.
Yeah.
Once we get
I'll take a picture when Neil was in it and he wasn't leaning forward and the top of his head was off screen. Yeah. All right, fam. Good luck next week. And I'll see you. Yeah, me too.
See you later. Cheers. Thanks, Aaron.